Water, being the most essential source of life, covering 70% of Earth and comprising much of the human body, has been central to health practices for centuries, while as a form of therapy, goes back longer than imagined with healing properties that the average person doesn't even know exist.
Now, someone might ask, how can water have healing properties? Water has long been thought of as an element with medical and therapeutic qualities that go back so long as to have been used even by ancient cultures, such as ancient Egyptians and Greeks who practiced bathing rituals with the intention of healing the body, mainly from several ailments due to the intensity of their physical lifestyle, as opposed to the Native Americans who sat in sweat lodges, kind of like ancient saunas, in attempts of purifying body and mind. That way seemed to fit their mentality and lifestyle. Targeting the Greek civilization now, they featured facilities called thermal baths, a couple of which were the Asclepia and the Lagatha thermal baths.
Asclepia were ancient centers of holistic healing. They used to serve as hospitals, asylums, or sanatoriums and were located in environments with beneficial climates accompanied by healing waters. They provided treatments with herbal medicine, dietary guidance, exercise regimes, or hypnosis. They were also dedicated to Asclepius, son of Apollo, god of medicine, and pioneered holistic care specifically in medical science.
The Lagatha thermal baths date back to 900 AD, with organized operations starting in 1925. The baths are suitable for both joint and bone issues, as well as diseases of the nervous system. In addition, they're adequate for rheumatic, skin, and gynecological conditions, as well as issues with the bile, liver, digestive, urinary, and circulatory systems. Lastly, they're fitted for post-therapy and customized for both face and body.
A span from the Roman Empire to the ancient Japanese developed a technique called hot springs. The water's minerals and heat were of great value for different reasons in its culture. The Roman baths were elaborate, having been built in a variety of places, like Bath in England, specifying in elements, unlike the Japanese ones built in ozons, targeting the general health of the body. The technique passed on over the years, reaching the Middle Ages and then the 21st century with minor changes to adapt even into our homes.
Now allow us to explain the discipline behind those healing powers. Referring to mental health, starting with studies from the UK, which have come to the conclusion that the water has the ability to majorly affect the human mind and body, with the person being in the proximal position of aquatic environments. The outcome of that is the optimization of mental health and the minimization of stress.
A theory called Blue Mind, invented by Wallace J. Nichols, indicates that water elicits sensations of calmness, happiness, and enhances creative capabilities. This theory not only seems to agree with the previously mentioned studies, but even elaborates on them. Some psychologists portray this effect as soft fascination, where water restores concentration and promotes mental rejuvenation.
Last but not least, blending water into our life for our well-being. Hospitals and wellness centers, unlike in the past, they are now provided with relaxing water features to achieve a more soothing environment for the patient, and not only. It has also shown a type of assistance for a more rapid recovery. Studies imply that even human-made water elements, for instance city fountains, create a tranquil atmosphere and sharpens focus. Additionally, the same effects can be achieved by introducing such features into our homes.
Thus, water's healing abilities offer numerous physical and mental benefits, boosting a sense of peace. By adding water into our daily schedule, we improve and foster our overall health.
Water and religion. Water has a central and sacred place in nearly every world religion. It symbolizes clarity, cleansing, life, and transformation. Many religions and spiritual traditions believe water is both a physical and spiritual entity, one that maintains and connects lives on earth, while symbolizing the sacred and the divine. From ancient rituals to modern practices, water is both a touchable and a symbolic element within religious life. Water in Hinduism. In Hinduism, water is revered as a purifying force and a bridge to the divine. Rivers, especially the Ganges, are considered gifts from the gods. Hindu tradition teaches that bathing in sacred rivers washes away sins and impurities. Rituals often include the sprinkling or pouring of water as a way to purify an individual or place. The Ganges River, for example, is believed to have descended from the heavens and is honored as the goddess Ganga. Pilgrims travel to the Ganges for ritual bathing and cremations, as Hindus believe that immersion in its waters helps set free the soul. Water in Christianity. Water has a deep meaning in Christianity, symbolizing clarification, baptism, and rebirth. In the New Testament, Jesus baptized in the Jordan River, marking the start of his service and symbolizing penance and forgiveness. Baptism, practiced by mostly all Christian designations, includes immersion or sprinkling of water on an individual as a sign of purifying from sin and spiritual renaissance. Water in Christian theology represents both death and rebirth. Jesus also describes himself as living water, pointing out that his teachings grow and support spiritual life. Water in Islam. In Islam, water is a symbol of God's mercy and an important gift to humanity. Ritual purification, wudu, is required early in the Muslim prayer, focusing on the need to be physically and spiritually clean before approaching God. Wudu involves washing particular parts of the body with pure water to get ready for prayer. This reference to water expands its conversation. Spoiling water is loudly discouraged in Islam. In desert regions where water absence is real, the value put on water also shows Islam's teaching of respect for all God-given resources. Water in Buddhism. Buddhism embodies water as a symbol of clarity, serenity, and purity. In Buddhist rituals, water is usually given earlier than in Buddhist study as an act of respect. The water pouring ceremony is a usual Buddhist ritual for transporting vice to the loved ones that have died, representing the idea that vice flow to the deceased like water flows into the earth. Water in Buddhism represents the mind's likeness to be pure and calm, reflecting the effect of mindfulness and meditation in achieving spiritual enlightenment. Water's global role in religion shows its deep spiritual and symbolic importance across cultures. As both a physical substance and a metaphor, water represents purity, renaissance, cleansing, and connection to the godlike. Either used in sacred rituals or protected as a resource, water continues to be an important perspective of humanity's spiritual landscape. In a world growingly aware of water shortage, the respect many religions show for water underlines its significance.
Water in mythology. From ancient times, water has played a big role in mythology. Also, some of the most popular ancient civilizations were built around water. For example, Rome, Atlantis, and Egypt were some of those. Additionally, many gods were born or had their headquarters in water. One of those was Neptune. Neptune was the god of the sea. He was the brother of Zeus. He had a trident, and it said that when he got angry, he would strike his trident into the water, and because of that, many sailors would do sacrifices for him in order to make it to the destination safely. Proteus was a god of the sea who had prophetic powers and was a very old wise man. It should be mentioned that he was a slave on Neptune. He lived on the island of Pharos in Egypt. This is where Menelaus met him in after he left Troy. Another god was Nereus. Nereus was also a god of the sea. He had 50 daughters, the Nereids, and his most popular daughter was Thetis, which was the mother of Achilles. Nereus was famous for his intelligence and his prophetic powers. Aphrodite was also associated with water due to the fact that she was created by the sea foam. She was the goddess of love and beauty. The Nereids were nymphs, and it is said that they were 50 in number. They were the daughters of Nereus, and they lived in the sea, and they were friendly to people. The Lernaean Hydra was a monster with 9 heads, which lived in swamps of Lake Lerni, which is located near Argos. It was killed by Hercules. What's more, the waters of Styx played an important role in mythology. It is said that whoever drank this water would die. This is the water that Thetis dipped Achilles in, holding him by his heel, and after that he became immortal in every part of his body except his heel where his mother held him from. Greeks believed that rivers were either gods or children of gods. In Greek mythology, it is said that all rivers are sons of god Oceanus, who was a titan and the son of Uranus and Gaia. They admired the water because of what it gave to them. A very famous myth is the fight between Hercules and the river Achelous. They fought over the Aneria. In the end, Hercules managed to beat Achelous. Then Hercules cut his right horn, and from that blood that flowed, the Sirens were born. The Sirens were sea demons who lived on an island, and with a charming song, they would entrap people who pass near the island. The only person that is known to have escaped from them is Odysseus, who ordered his companions to tie him to the ship's mast in order to not get affected by their song. Another mythical river was Acheron. It was believed that in a lake in that river there was a gate leading to the realms of Hades. Also, there was a dog with 3 heads and with the tail of a dragon named Cerberus. He was a servant of Hades, chained in a river Acheron, who would eat everyone trying to escape the realm of Hades. There is also a myth with Alexander the Great, the Macedonian king. According to the myth, Alexander was in search of the immortal water, but when his sister drank it, he cursed her into being half fish and half human. The myth says that she is still searching for him, and she is asking sailors if the king Alexander is still alive. If their answer is negative, she sinks their ship. Those were some occasions where water meets mythology.
From the beginning of civilization, the supply of water has been one of humanity's biggest concerns. In many places, where water sources could not cover people's needs, diseases spread quickly and people got sick and died. As a result, people chose to live in areas where there was plenty of clean water, usually near rivers or springs. However, as the population grew, the need to expand cities and bring water to new areas also increased. This is why aqueducts were created. Aqueducts are structures that were built to carry water from natural springs to various cities and settlements. In ancient times, aqueducts were significant because they provided water to areas that didn't have enough. Water was used for drinking and maintaining hygiene. Let's talk more specifically about the Pisistratian Aqueduct, which is an underground tunnel about 2,500 years old. It is one of the oldest aqueducts and still provides water to this day, though its exact condition is unknown. The Pisistratian Aqueduct dates back to the era of Pisistratos, who initiated the construction of aqueducts to gather water from Mount Hymettus and the sources of Pelasgians. Considered the oldest springs in Attica. The largest part of the aqueduct consisted of a pipeline that reached up to 14 meters in depth. In other sections, the aqueduct had an underground canal. At the bottom of the pipeline, cylindrical ceramic pipes were connected. Today, parts of the Pisistratian Aqueduct are located at the Syntagma and Evangelismos metro stations. The construction of the aqueduct is dated between 540 and 530 BC. Another aqueduct is the Eupolinian Tunnel in Samos, which was used for over a millennium and is a marvel of ancient engineering. Even modern scientists and engineers are astonished by the design and execution of such a large-scale project. The aqueduct's unique design and execution are considered impressive, even by today's modern standards. Its construction was overseen by Eupolinus, who Herodotus mentioned nearly a century later, and it was especially appreciated by Romans. As they used it from the 1st century BC to the 7th century AD, the most famous aqueduct is the Hadrianic Aqueduct. Its construction started by the Roman Emperor Hadrian around 125 AD, and completed around 140 AD. Hadrian was known for his love for Greece and generally Greek culture. He started this construction because he wanted to strengthen Athens' water supply, as the city needed it. Many people say that it is aimed at the water supply of Athens. But it also claimed that it is aimed at the water supply of Roman quarter of Athens. It is a complex and valuable underground project, with a pipeline about 25 kilometers long. The aqueduct continued to work until the years of Ottoman rule, when it was abandoned and fell into ruin. Athenians then began digging wells at their homes. Hadrian's aqueduct starts from the springs of Mount Pernita and ends in the Lycabettus area. The best preserved section of the aqueduct can be found in Calandri. It's essential to note that it still operates in some areas today, which is impressive because it shows how advanced and innovative water management was in ancient Greece. This aqueduct benefited Athens for 1,800 years. During the construction of our school, the second high school of Metamorphosi, in 2019, an ancient underground built water conduit was discovered at a depth of 2.5 meters below ground level. This specific conduit is related to the Hadrian Aqueduct and has several similarities to it. Its function was to transport water and supply inhabited areas. Archaeologists undertook its excavation and conservation. It is very likely to be a continuation of another conduit previously discovered in the area. The conduit underwent repairs during its period of use.
Water is the essence of life, a vital resource for every living organism, but it can also become a powerful and dangerous force. From devastating floods to destructive tsunamis, water can cause significant disasters when its power is unleashed. Particularly, floods, as time flies, are becoming more and more increasing due to climate change. Flood is an overflow of water onto normally dry land, which is further exacerbated by the ongoing climate change. During the past decades, we humans, with our daily activities, are mainly responsible for the climate change, which leads to the most frequent occurrence of extreme weather events, which are the main reason of floods. One such example is a flood which took place in Thessaly, Greece, on September 2023, which constitutes the largest flood disaster in the history of Greece. Many areas in Thessaly, even after the flood, have remained deserted and with no basic human needs, such as first aid, clean water, and electricity. Most recently, in September 2024, the Boris storm caused severe economic damage. European community had to provide significant financial support. On 29 October 2024 in Valencia, a year's worth of rain happened in a time of 8 hours. This caused streets to turn into rivers and human losses reaching the number of 213 people. On the other hand, another destructive aspect of water is tsunamis. Tsunamis are giant waves caused by earthquakes or volcanic eruptions under the sea. One of the most catastrophic tsunamis is the one in Indonesia. In 26 December 2004, a 9.1 earthquake struck north of Sumatra Island. That caused a tsunami which reached almost 100 feet height, affecting 15 countries. The tsunami of 2004 is one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history, counting approximately 230,000 deaths. On March 11, 2011, one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded on the planet occurred in Japan, triggering a deadly tsunami. This, in turn, caused the nuclear disaster in Fukushima. But even in Mediterranean countries, tsunamis can occur. In 1627 BC, after the eruption of the Santorini volcano, a tidal wave reached the shores of Crete and marked the beginning of the decline of the Minoan civilization as it destroyed crops, ships, and trade. In the 20th century, the largest tsunami in the Mediterranean area occurred in 1956, following a 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Santorini. The 25-meter-high tsunami engulfed everything on many Aegean islands, particularly the island of Amorgos. To sum up, if we want to be secure by the causes of those disasters, it is necessary for the governments and European community to be cautious and have policies to reduce the risk and improve how they respond to such disasters.
We're all aware of the importance of water usage in our lives, but in fact, we are actually clueless of how its significance goes beyond our imagination. In ancient Greece, long before the appearance of modern technology, the Greeks, with their ever-curious minds, had quickly gotten in grips with the profound power of water. Water, they believed, was a gift from the gods, and that's why it was thought as a miracle. As a matter of fact, they held the conviction that water was a renewable force that could simplify their lives and work as their savior. In this day and age, with the hectic rhythms of life and the rapid technological improvement humans have seemed to forget, the power that water holds not only is underestimated, but completely ignored. But have we ever thought what is hidden beneath the surface? Our thirst for energy has been a wake-up call and pushes us to reimagine water as something even more, making us seek for a partner in a sustainable future. We should think about water as more than something to drink. Geothermal energy played and still plays a vital role as far as renewable energy is concerned, generating electricity and warmth in our households. The Greeks were among the first that took advantage of the heated water, which is caused by this natural phenomenon, to fulfill some of their daily needs. A characteristic example is the city of Thermopylae, that took its name from its meaning, hot gates, where hot springs bubbled up from the earth. It's astonishing how water has the ability to create a never-ending cycle, and as a result, after responsible usage, it never goes to waste, contributing in the generation of energy. This energy that comes from all these droplets, eventually, after harnessing water, lights up our lives. Today, the appearance of cutting-edge technology has led to a new chapter in sustainable hydroelectric energy. Picture a world where water isn't just the key to endless clean energy. It all starts with advanced refiners that extract energy from seawater. But the magic doesn't stop there. Modern engineering takes it further, using tidal and wave energy. It's the heartbeat of nature that fuels our sustainable future, as the motion of tides rising and waves crushing spins turbines to produce energy. As these integrated systems continue to evolve, they begin to transform the landscape, transitioning from fossil fuels and grid-based electricity to a new era of sustainability. The result? A self-sustaining system where water powers our world. In this reimagined world, water is no longer just a source, but it's unlocking its full potential to fuel the future, a future where clean power flows as naturally as the oceans themselves. Think about this: a single droplet of water could theoretically power an entire car. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? By using electricity, we can split water into two powerful elements, hydrogen and oxygen, which when they combine in a fuel cell, they create energy ready to power cars, gadgets, and even entire cities. What's the best part? This process is harmless for the environment, as the only thing left behind is pure water vapor. While we're not quite there yet, it's astonishing how water can eventually contribute to integral parts of our lives, such as cars, by fueling their reservoirs with energy. So, next time you see a raindrop or a ripple in a stream, remember that in every drop of water lies the potential to power our world, sustainably and endlessly. It's not just a splash of hope, but a signal that the future is flowing. As we finally notice the energy all around us, who knows? The future might just be powered by the simplest, most abundant resource on Earth: water. The energy is there, in every drop, ready to spark a revolution in how we power our world.
Hardly a day goes by without the problem of climate change being raised. It is true that this worldwide phenomenon is threatening our planet today due to a number of factors. First and foremost, by cutting down several forests and burning numerous fossil fuels, it leads to air pollution and to climate change as well. In particular, fossil fuels combustion, burning coal, gas and oil, deforestation, rapid increase of livestock farming, fertilizers, which contain nitrogen and fluorinated gases, are all dramatically affecting the Earth's climate and the global temperature. All the above mentioned add enormous amounts of greenhouse gases to those naturally occurring in the atmosphere, increasing the greenhouse effect and global warming.
Some of the effects that have been predicted are already visible. One of them is the increase in sea levels. In 1880, scientists started keeping record of the rise of sea levels, and it is observed that it has risen significantly. Extreme weather conditions are caused by that. Natural disasters will be repeated and more dangerous. Since the 1900s, due to carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions, the temperatures have raised, and that results to the melting of glaciers and sea ice. That leads to the warming of the poles that disrupt the expected patterns of the ocean. Climate change is the reason that extreme heat waves are more frequent and last longer. Wildfires, floods, poor quality of air, food and water are some things that are caused by that. Due to lack of rains, wildfires are constantly occurring, especially among Mediterranean countries, affecting ecosystems and floods in adjacent forest areas. It is also very bad for our health. The wildfires that happen are the reason for a variety of lung diseases, heart conditions, and can even increase the possibility of dementia.
It is true that 70% of our planet is covered by water, and at first glance it seems pretty plentiful. However, only 3% is fresh water, and more than the half of it is stacked in frozen glaciers or it is unavailable for our use. As a result, 1/6 of world population haven't access to clean water, and 425 million children in the world face shortage of water. Furthermore, another problem that 2.4 billion people are facing is insufficient sanitation that provokes many severe diseases. Consequently, 1,500 million children die every year in Africa because of infectious diseases due to impure water. Besides, this condition is worsening due to climate change. The effects of a changing climate are making water more inadequate, and therefore the water held in soil, snow and ice is decreasing. As a result, water scarcity is increasing, which disrupts societal activity.
Research shows that the climate will be warmer and drier, minimizing the reserves of groundwater. It is predicted that disasters that are related to water over the years will be more frequent and more severe. Particularly, 72% of natural disasters account for water, like floods and storms. The availability of water is reducing in numerous parts of the world. The dry climate can negatively affect the quantity and the quality of the water. Ways to deal with climate change are related to individual responsibility. Instead of driving, you can choose to walk, cycle, or take the bus. What is more, artificial lights have a negative impact to the environment, so when we don't need them, it is better to turn them off. It is also important to reuse and recycle our things. Buy fewer things, and if you can't stop shopping, second-hand is a great solution. Reduce the use of plastic. Less than 10% is recycled, and it doesn't disappear for hundreds of years. Finally, it's better not to throw away food when it rots, since it produces methane, a greenhouse gas. So if there are leftovers, you can store them.
Water pollution. What is water pollution? We call water polluted when harmful substances like chemicals or microorganisms contaminate a body of water, reducing its quality and making it dangerous to humans and the environment. Polluted water also interferes with the normal functioning of ecosystems. In addition to the release of substances, water pollution may also include the release of energy or radiation. Now let's move over to ocean pollution. The majority of ocean pollutants that make their way into the ocean originate from human activities. One of the biggest sources of pollution is garbage from humans. Most of us throw our garbage everywhere, not considering the consequences of it. Another source is non-point source pollution. A non-point source pollution can be created during agriculture activities. Pollution that starts from a single source, like an oil leak or chemical spill, is known as point source pollution. Point source pollution events have a huge impact on the environment, but they are rare. All this pollution joins the food cycle and comes back to us. To add up, many species have gone extinct or are endangered because we are too lazy to wait 1 minute to reach the garbage bin.